In this video, I'm going to be showcasing 10 Minecraft redstone contraptions that every Minecrafter beginner to advanced should have. And all of these are built in Minecraft 1.16, and many of these are original to this video that I created specifically for this showcase. We're not going to be doing tutorials on these farms today. If you guys really want some of them, well, not all of them are farms, but if you want tutorials on some of these contraptions and various farms, then leave it down below in the comments, and if enough people want them, then I'll do tutorials on a few of these. But none of these are super complicated. The one right behind me is probably one of the most complicated. There's that, and then one other that we'll get to later. But before we continue farther into the video, I do just want to say that only a very small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. Looks like about 87% or 89% of people who watch them aren't subscribed, meaning that if everyone subscribed, we'd have about 30,000 subscribers right now. It'd be close to 30,000. So obviously it's unrealistic to expect that much, but maybe we could close that gap just a tiny little bit. Also, you can come join my Discord. We have almost 100 members. We're getting really close to 100 members, and the link is in the description if you want to come join that and hang out with us there. But now let's continue on with the video. So here are the 10 various contraptions that we have. We have a button activated piston door, a doorbell, a toggleable water elevator, a cooked chicken farm, a micro pumpkin / melon farm, hidden enchantment setup, shulker box unloader, micro bamboo farm, micro sugarcane farm, and a micro wool farm. All of these are relatively simple to build. They weren't necessarily simple to design, but basically a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player could use these contraptions with relative ease. So the first one here is a button activated piston door, and you'll notice that these pistons remain retracted until we hit the button again on the other side, meaning that you don't have to worry about making it through the door in like the space of 2 seconds before it closes again. So that's the nice thing about this. It works from either side. You can hit either button and it will just work, and that's made possible by this handy circuit here that turns the button's pulse into a solid signal or no signal. So that's what makes this possible, and it's relatively simple redstone. Again, if you guys want tutorials on any of these, then you can leave it down in the comments. If a bunch of people ask, then I'll probably do it, but otherwise probably not. Now, moving on to our second contraption, we have a doorbell, and actually two different designs of doorbells. The first one is just a door above an observer, and when you open it or close it, it'll set off the doorbell, which is just a note block thing down here. It's gold blocks underneath the note blocks down there, and over here is a slightly more complicated design. It doesn't activate every time you open the door. It only activates if you push the button. So you can go open and close the door, nothing will happen, but if you push the button, then it activates the same little tune down here. This one, just for information, these are both above gold. Its note is set to 5, and this is note set to 0. So that's the note blocks for those. And yeah, so this one, it's a simpler design, but if you don't want to be spammed with the doorbell noise every time you open or close a door, then I would recommend this design, which is pretty simple as well, just slightly more complicated. It just has redstone actually coming from the button, hidden behind these walls here and stuff like that. And now onto the toggleable water elevator, or the switchable water elevator. So this one probably took the longest to design for this video, and I eventually got it working, and I'm not quite even sure how it works. I mean, I partially know how it works, but parts of it still confuse me, even though I'm the one that built it. So pretty much, if we hit this button, that'll change to soul sand. If we hit this button again, it'll change back to magma blocks. So let's say that you're standing down here, you want to go up. We go into here, and we end up at the top, and then now let's say we want to go down. We push that, that'll toggle to the magma blocks, and we can go in here and go right back down again. So this way, pretty much, you can just have one water elevator here, which removes the need for multiple streams and potentially could save space, although there's a lot of redstone back here, so I don't know, it's kind of debatable about how much space it actually saves just having one water elevator, but it is a kind of a cool contraption here. Now, I was especially happy to be able to make this button toggleable, because that makes it a lot simpler from either end. Like if you had a lever at one end or something like that, then that would make it a lot more difficult. You could also probably just have like a note block with an observer observing it, and then you could take that pulse, make it actually like a slightly longer pulse with a repeater, and that could work as well. But the button is by far the simplest design here. And if you had to extend this redstone down a lot farther, then you would want to have some slightly different method. Maybe you could use like a slime block little pusher thing with a redstone block at the end. You could do something like that probably. But this is a short distance, so we just had the looping little spiral staircase going down for the redstone. And now over here we've got kind of an old design for a cooked chicken farm. And it actually still works pretty well. Basically, let's explain what's going on here. So, right here we have a bunch of chickens, and they just sit there and they lay eggs. And the hoppers pick up the eggs, and the eggs go into this dispenser here. And this is on a constant clock here. I couldn't really fit a just auto dropper clock there that would only turn on when items were in it. I tried really hard to fit one in there. You can see this was actually extended out farther when I was trying to work on that, but we ended up not being able to make that work. So this one will just dispense the eggs, and then the baby chickens will spawn from some of the eggs. It looks like it just shot an egg because that's why the baby chicken would have gotten hurt. And then eventually the baby chickens grow up, and when they become fully grown, they will start to suffocate in the blocks above, and then they'll just drop feathers and raw chicken. And right here we have a very tightly squeezed item filter here that filters out feathers, and then the chicken goes into here. Well, the chicken goes in here first, and then it gets cooked and turns into cooked chicken. So it's pretty much infinite feathers and cooked chicken. If you don't need the feathers, you can also easily just have them burn in fire or lava or something, because this does produce a lot of feathers relatively quickly. Oh, see, there go some eggs. Some eggs just got shot out right there. Oh, one of the chickens just grew up, and yep, see, there it is. There's raw chicken smelting or cooking here, and that was actually a perfect timing demonstration of this thing in action here. Now moving on, we have another farm, and it's a micro pumpkin and melon farm. This side here produces melons, this side produces pumpkins. It's a pretty small and simple design here. Each module just requires a target block, a normal piston, an observer, and a piece of redstone to make it work. So it doesn't require too much. Also needs some hoppers, but if we were to turn the random tick speed up to 1000, we can watch this in action here. If we sit over here, yep, it looks like it's growing stuff. There go melons, there go pumpkins. See, we can see that growing. Also, some other farms over there are getting affected, but let's turn that off for now. Anyways, yeah, it just outputs pretty slowly. You can stack this very easily on top of each other. These modules just stack literally with almost no gaps in between them. And it's a pretty easy and simple to build just starter melon and pumpkin farm. If you don't have a ton of resources for all the pistons and rails and observers needed for the more conventional rectangular melon and pumpkin farms that are combined, like you've probably seen them before. They've been around for a while, and they're really fast, but they also require a bunch of stuff to make. And moving on, this one looks pretty nondescript, but it's a hidden enchantment setup, meaning that if we were to stand here, a bunch of bookshelves will come out of the floor, and we can enchant stuff here with level 30 enchants. Apparently, being in creative mode, I can enchant this stuff without lapis. That's pretty neat. So, just got the rest of that enchanted. If you're wondering why this looks different, it's because I'm using the Vanilla Tweaks enchantment texture, which actually I think looks better, because normal enchantments on netherite make netherite look magenta when it's actually dark gray. So this actually makes it look dark gray, but also has the enchantment glitch. If we were to go to resource packs and remove that, you'll see that I suddenly turn a horrible shade of magenta here. Yeah, that doesn't look anywhere near as nice in my opinion. Yeah, let's go back. We gotta turn on our not skin customization. We need to go to resource packs and put this. There we go. Much better. Alright, and now on to our 7th contraption. It is a shulker box unloader of my own design. This took an hour and a half to design. It was not easy, but it actually works really well. And there are much more compact and less messy, I guess, shulker box unloaders, but I wanted to make my own design, and I'm pleased to say that this works. So, if we were to put 3 shulker boxes, and they all have 16 wool, you'll see that they sit in there, and they get unloaded. And once that's unloaded, we should see it get broken. It puts another one down, and then it'll unload this. You can see the wool counting in there. Once it's at 32, that'll get broken. And the final shulker box will now be put out. Once this goes to 48, this will get broken. And now there's 48 wool and 3 empty shulker boxes. So this thing is really cool. I mean, yeah, there's way simpler designs, but this design just, it does work. I'm sure it could have much more refined redstone circuits and stuff like that, but that's what I was able to make in about an hour and a half or something. I was going into this being like, oh yeah, this will be easy, it's not too hard to make shulker box unloaders, and I was very, very wrong about that. So it wasn't too hard to make it unload one shulker box. The really difficult part was making it unload multiple consecutively, one after the other. Like, they would either get stuck here or stuck here, and then I couldn't figure out how to make it pulse again and have this retract again so that it could actually place it in. Because you'll notice that this thing, when it's just in standby mode, is actually blocked. So it was really tricky to make that work. I had to have like double pulses and tons of observers observing stuff everywhere. So yeah, it's a little bit convoluted, but it does work, and that's what matters. And now moving on, we've got a micro bamboo farm. And this one should actually be growing and harvesting very shortly. I don't know if this last bamboo is going to grow here, but I do want to just set the tick speed to 1000. And there we go. You saw that harvest, and now it's just going to get picked up down here. And the bamboo is going in from this minecart with hopper, and I'll just unload slowly as it goes back and forth. This is a super simple design. It's just got a bunch of observers up here. They're all connected to this piston, which will extend downward one time, and then when it detects another pulse up here of the bamboo breaking, it'll retract itself. So it actually works pretty well. Obviously there's the giant sweeper bamboo farms, which are way more effective than this, but they also require way more resources than this, namely tons upon tons of minecart rails and an extensive unloading system, which is often a big logistical nightmare. And now over here we've got a similar design farm in the form of a micro sugarcane farm. And this here, again, it could be replaced by a giant sweeper farm, or there's like tower farms. There's lots of sugarcane farm designs, but this is a super simple design here. And if you wanted, you could just have this thing fire off of one observer so that it would just wait for one specific piece to grow before firing everything. So if you could do that, it would just harvest less often, but it would mean less observers. So if we set this to 1000, we'll see that that grows like that, and it got harvested. All of it got picked up by this minecart, and all of it's going into here. So that's a demonstration of that. But over here, our final and 10th redstone contraption is a micro wool farm, which is honestly the easiest farm here to build. Is just this micro wool farm. Actually, we just saw it work right there. Pretty much what happens is just you put sheep in here, you shear them one time, and then they sit there, and eventually the grass will grow back, and then they can eat the grass. But when they turn the grass into dirt, this observer sends a pulse through this redstone, which activates this dispenser, and it shears them. And then up here we have tons upon tons of more shears. Oop, it looks like I didn't put enough shears in there. And you just pretty much have to have lots of grass surrounding it. Oh, see, there it goes. That guy just ate, and then he got harvested. And you don't even need to put a roof over this unless you are worried about falling in, because this trap door here actually keeps the sheep in, and it also stops wool from going into the weird hitbox of this hopper here, because that can happen sometimes, but this trap door prevents that and also stops the sheep from getting out. Oh, it looks like it just may have worked again. Yep, there goes more wool. There's wool going into it. Looks like about one piece of wool. So yeah, all in all, this is a pretty simple and easy farm to have. It's one of the first farms I build on any survival world, because wool is just really helpful to have, and this takes so few resources. It's really convenient. But I think that concludes our 10 redstone contraptions that everyone from beginner to advanced should have in their Minecraft world. And some of these are different levels of difficulty. Some of them are extremely easy, like that wool farm over there. Some of them are really complicated, like that shulker box unloader, and this thing is sort of intermediate here. And this thing is also kind of complicated. The worst one of these to design was that, followed up by this easily. This here wasn't actually that hard to design. It didn't take too long, and it was a lot more fun than trying to make this work. This was so infuriating trying to design, but it's not hard at all to build once you have the design down. And yeah, tutorials, maybe, if you guys are interested in tutorials. I'm not really sure at the moment. I'm not planning to, but you never know what may happen in the future. But that's gonna do it for today, guys, and if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like and subscribing with notifications on. You know, let's see if we can get that percentage of not subscribed down just a little bit, maybe to 80%. So maybe we can lower it 7 to 9% or something like that. That would be really cool. And if not, that's okay as well, I understand. And it's free to subscribe. You can always unsubscribe if you feel like it at any time. And yeah, you can come join my Discord down in the description. You can support me on Patreon if you're interested and get access to a private Minecraft survival server as well. But I've been Steve, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Bye.